Saltmarsh is waking up and the businesses are begging for more citizens to move in to become part of their workforce. And to do that, we are finally making a brand new UK town in Saltmarsh. This is going to be episode 13, and like I said, we're going to be adding a brand new old town to our UK City Skylines build. So after that, sit back, relax, and let's get into Saltmarsh. So guys, like you saw in the intro, we're back with Saltmarsh for another episode, and we have a massive issue. A lot of people are moving out, around 120 an hour. We're not losing money, which is a good thing, but all of our businesses are becoming very depressed because there's not enough labour, and I really don't want any of them to start moving out. So we do have a lot of problems with small homes. So there isn't enough small homes, or they want a few bigger homes. So I think the best thing for us to do is to start a new UK town. And I think the best place to do that is going to be right here in this patch of land where it looks like it'd be perfect for a little farming community. Now what I want to do is I want to leave this train track alone over here and bring our train track from over here to connect over there and then into our new town. So let's get started with that. And I think what we first need to start with is some landscaping. So we're going to go over with this and start. Yeah, see guys, we can't erase all these, so I'm going to have to do it all by hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a little time lapse. I'm going to prepare this area ready for us to start building. Okay guys, so I might have completely given up on the idea of sorting this out before we build on it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to build on it and sort out at the same time. So what we need to do is we need to purchase these 4 squares, costing us a total of $439,000. So we're going to purchase these. I'm just going to test this tool once more because it doesn't really work for me, and I think it's the map that I'm on. I think all the ones that spawn by default just don't like to destroy through this method. So I think what we want to do is we want to make this area sort of an old town. And most old towns are centered by something. And I think what I need to center this around is probably a church. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our depth cap. We're going to have to pause it because it's going to come up with the road connections being funny. But that's fine. So we're going to go in with our UK parish church. And we're just going to place this down in the middle here. As you can also see, this area is very hilly. So what we are also going to have to do is not flatten it too much, because we know we don't like to just level the whole thing out. But definitely go in and just, you know, make it a lot more soft. We're going to start this process again. Okay, so what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the UK parish church in the center. So this is what everything's going to want to be built around. So what we then come off here is we're going to have a main road come off here, which is then sort of going to bend. And it's most likely then going to connect into our alley, what is going to be the main road for this sort of the bit, like the central build. So then we're going to have this alley come down, and it's sort of going to create like a little, you know, a little bend around this area where it's been built. And this is just going to follow and be the main topography of this area. So this area is sort of now based around... Oh, I really don't like that bend there. So we're just going to rebuild that in. Okay, so what we're doing is we're building the central reservation bit where sort of this whole village is built off. So we're going to bring this, and then we're going to bring this round. round and connect it in there, which is going to sort of be where it meets. And that's a much nicer meeting point. And this was sort of just like the main center. Then coming off here, we will then want, you know, some transitional roads. So some sort of newer roads. What are then going to come off there? We'll, oh, no, we still want this to be paused. We want to bring probably one off here. And have that come all the way around. Then we're going to want one to come off about here. And bring that in. Well, it will eventually connect into over there. And then probably want one more that is going to come here. And then off here. So these are going to sort of be the ways in. And we're going to connect those up to the main roads. But what I want to then do is sort of build a transitional road. That then comes off this. And it's sort of going to be a ring road for this area without it looking. You know, I'm going to go back on this. It's going to look really bad. I can already tell. Yeah, that is a terrible ring road. Oh, that is absolutely horrendous. Let's really go in and draw that back in. Okay, so the whole idea is like I said, is that we've got, you know, this main square. What we're going to also change to gravel. We're going to put some textures over it, make it more of a gravel road. And what we're going to sort of act like's happened is then we've had a bit of development to the area. You know, people have come in. They've looked and they've wanted to develop it. We also need to bring this curve needs to be a lot sharper. So when it will come through there, then meet up here. Yeah, beautiful. So that is actually going to be sort of the ring road for this town. We then got the roads inside the middle, and this is sort of going to be how it was built back in the day. Then between these roads, we then want to, like I said before, come in with our alleyways, and these are going to be, remember, these are going to be our gravel roads. We're going to put gravel texture on them, and this is sort of, we're going to use the trees, so the trees are going to be used to our advantage of sort of the partisan, well, not partisan, that was a wrong word. The proper divide of how these areas were divided. And, you know, these are trees that have naturally just been in for the whole time around that. So we're going to bring a tree, well, this around here. And we want to sort of just have this as the natural way the roads worked in this town. And then we can become a bit more funky, you know. We could maybe put a through road on some of these districts, you know. There's nothing stopping us from doing that. But then these are going to be sort of our main roads for these areas. What we're then going to be basing the rest of our country village around. Now, you got to remember, this is going to be a village, so this is going to be small. It can be bigger, because what we will be doing is we will be adding in at some point, as you can see what they do with villages these days, is developers come in and they add new builds to basically everything. So we're going to add some new builds to it as well at some point. Yeah, so then we'll add in some new builds as well to this area. Okay, so now we have the general layout of this area of how it's going to look. So I think what I want to do next is go in and start building how this is going to look, so we can get the general idea of then how we're going to implement some of the other things like the services, the schools to this area. So you know what, we're going to go into a short little time lapse, and I'm going to sort out how this area is going to look, and I'll see you all in a little bit. Okay guys, so now you've seen how this thing's built. What we can also then do is come in here with some of these buildings, and we click on them, and then we can copy the palette for this, and then we can paste the palette on some of these buildings. And what we will do is we will make some of the buildings different, but what I want to do in general is make a lot of these buildings the same, because they would have been made by sort of the same block, would have been designed by the same architect, and these are sort of older buildings, so there might be some different colours, a bit of wear and tear on them, but in general most of them are going to be the same sort of brand of colouring for each block. And you know, it might change by district because different people might have built each area, but as you can see, I think this is looking really good for sort of the vibe of the medieval town that we're trying to go for. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to continue it, and it might be a time lapse, or I might just come back when I've done each section. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, so now we've added that, or filled in this little bit, we still need to go in, and I want to show you the recolor feature, because I still think it's really cool that they've added it by base. What we do is we copy this, and then what we can do is we can go in and we can make all of these the same color palette. What I think works great to sort of show that, you know, most of these buildings were developed in the same era, so they got sort of the same paint job. You know, they were developed because back in the days they wouldn't have loads of different materials to make their houses loads of different colors. They would sort of just be there would be the color of whichever material, you know, they were used. And when a little village like this is being made, you're not using tons and tons and tons of different materials to get these done, especially if they're built in the same age or the same sort of era. Now, as soon as we come sort of off these main roads here and then back towards this is where we're going to add in a few newer housing estates. But what I want to do is I want to get this part set up. So we're just going to go in now with our main road, and we're going to get this connected in over here. So it's going to be one of the entrances to the village, and what we're going to do, like always, is we're going to put a roundabout on it. Now, I don't want to put a very large roundabout on it. I don't think that's a good idea, but we'll put on just a small little roundabout just for people to get in there. Then we want to do the same over here. We want to give them tons of options to get in. Now, I do want to remind everyone that there's going to be a lot of traffic to begin with, but once we sort of have this traffic running for a while, then the traffic, or this place running for a while, the traffic will slowly go down as time goes on. So we're just going to get these connected up. And then we've got this whole area connected up. Now, the real question, does these alleys have sewage under it? Sewage and plumbing, yes, it does. So then what we're going to do is we're going to get our sewage, electrical, all the way from, well, our sewage treatment sort of does just need to go down to the plants over here. So we're going to bring this down, and it's all going to connect in over here, and it's just going to go underground. I know it's not the most realistic thing, but I don't really want to spend ages getting it set up. We will add a water tower in over here, though. Let's quickly look at the water pollution over here. Okay, so we want to look at our water pollution. There's no water pollution over here. We are all good, so let's get this set up. We will then connect this up to our water pipes over here and get those set up. And then our electricity, sadly, we will need to get from our grid, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's a little bit unrealistic, but I know we don't own the electric from over here, but what I do want to do is I want to bring our electrical cables all the way over, because otherwise we're going to be spending a lot of money on a new electrical grid. I don't really want that. So we're going to bring it over. Going to bring it over. And then we're going to put a transformer station over here where our lines will connect into. So we'll get them connected into here. And then from here, we'll have it go underground and meet up with our electrical grid. Yeah, so then that should be sewage, plumbing, and everything sorted out for over here. Let's unpause the game and let's see how this works. We also need to get our sewage and plumbing set up. Did we not fully connect this up? No, we didn't. Well, that was quite useful, wasn't it? Our sewage pipe doesn't go anywhere, but that's fine. It's not fine, actually. It's going to really annoy me, but we're not going to deal with it for right now. That's fine. So we've got this little area set up. And then what we want to do is we want to sort out, okay, so we've got this. What services are we going to need for over here? So first we're going to need a school. So we're going to go over here, and this is sort of our main road. So maybe this is, to be fair, the school could just be placed in here since it looks old. Yeah, that's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to get the school, and we're going to just place it off this main road. No, not that main road there. Let's see. We want the school to look like it's been part of this area. So I think what we're going to do is we're not going to connect this up, and we're going to get the school. Trying to think where it would still look like it's been. So you know what? We're going to place a school there. Then we want a secondary school, and there isn't really a UK high school that looks realistic for it, and we don't want a massive one. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look through these. Yeah, I think this probably looks the most realistic for one to be in sort of an older area. So what we're going to do is we're going to get... Oh, is it the one we want to use? No, we're using the newer one. And we will place it... where do we want it? We're going to place it over here. And we'll make this part of a new build area we build. So it's going to be like we've made a... You know, we have actually, you know, gone and placed a school in. You know, this school has been designed for this area. So then people don't have to commute too far for the school. Like I said, guys, we do need to be a little bit mindful that the traffic is going to be a lot while we're just building it. And you know what? This is a nice little area. We've got our schools well, so we need a hospital. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the... We've got money. how much we've got money, what we're making a month. We're not losing a load, so we're going to add this UK one in, even though it costs a lot. Do you know what? We're going to have this snap, and we're going to put it... Where are we going to put this UK hospital? I think what we do is we put it in the same area as our school, so we put it there, and then we'll build that up. And then, is there anything else what we really need over here? I don't think so. What we're going to do is we will add a rural recycling centre. No, we won't, because it's not actually as small as I thought it was. We could do like a waste collection depot somewhere in the hills, but we'll do that in a little bit. And then the next part I want to work on. So I wanted to just get, the layout for this done. So then we can start... Oh, let's have a look. Oh my god, the traffic's so bad over here. Why is it so bad? Is the real question. Because it's not backing up coming into the city. Oh, it's because everybody wants to go this way, so... Okay. There's nothing more we can really do to fix this. Yeah, I think it's just the fact that we have... Yeah, I think it's literally just the fact that we have this over here. I think it's a small roundabout. Could probably handle it. So we're just going to leave it. But what I do want to do is I want to think of how we're going to do a train station over here. So, let's have a little look at what train infrastructure we have, what we could add over here. So, let's look at our train station. So we have a small non-electrified station, but the only problem is we do need to have there are going to be, I think, electrified trains coming through here. So let's have a little look and look at our small train. So this is a medium one. It's a medium station. It's got the overpass, but I think it's a bit too big. We have the French station. I think it's still just a little bit too big for this. Small overground. I like it, but I don't think it's the one we want. Small elevated, definitely not the one we want. Guys, I'm trying to think. Maybe we just use our small non-electrified one, and then we just don't run electrified trains over here. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do, before we even start with the train station over there, I'm going to pre-warn everyone, I have recorded this one segment about 5 times because I keep on messing up how this is meant to look. So what we need to do is we need to somehow take this main line here and bring it through. Now, I'm trying to figure out what would be the best way to do it without disrupting this traffic too much over here. Now, I'm starting to think we need to somehow get this... So we'll pick this track here, because this is the one we want, the 4-lane one. And we somehow need to get this. This basically just needs to go all the way through here. The issue is that we've got so much in the way of this, and there's not a lot of space until our next... Well, there's not enough space for where our next junction is. So, first what I want to do is I want to actually, dredge out just a tiny bit of land. Just to make sure that, So if we dredge this out, then we have a lot more sort of space to work with. Next, what I want to do is this is all part of my plan, by the way, guys, just to try and get this to work the simplest way. Next is to turn these segments here into bridge segments. So then, hopefully... Now, this is a hope, because I'm not actually sure this is going to work properly. So we just need to hope. Hope and prayer will do this for us. It definitely won't. That's definitely not what's going to do this for us. It's going to be, then how far can I get these up without it being weird. So then we need to make that a bridge piece there. Okay, see, so we've got these here now. Now what we need to do is we need to see how far we can get each side up Okay, now we need to see how far we can get each side up without it freaking out on me. As you can see, guys, also the game seems to be running a little bit smoother than it was before. Now, I think that's because something I've done, or one of the settings I've changed. Okay, and this doesn't affect it too much over this side, and that is what we want to make sure, is that it's not affecting this part of the road where it connects into here too much. So then what we want to do is we do want to just delete this part here, because we want to take this off the bridge part. So no bridge, null bridge. And we just want to bring this straight. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to bring this straight through here. No, that's not what we want. Oh my god, guys, this is so much easier than what we were doing before. I don't think you'll understand how much I had to mess about with stuff to even get this to work. Okay, so now we've got this bit here. Now what we should be able to do is come in with the move it tool. And we should just be able to individually now select nodes. So let's select this node here, and we just want to drag this node along. Completely clear that. What we want to do is we want to look up. And just make sure no other nodes are in the middle of this track here. Okay, and you can see we've confirmed that there's no other nodes doing some weird things. The only thing we need to do is fix our lane priority tool right here where it's being really weird. So we just need to do this simple thing of literally just connecting back up. Okay, it's fine if they have the weird crisscross things there. Okay, so then that goes straight under here, which is fine, which is what we want. And then what we want is we want to bring this to an outside connection. The only problem is over here is really hilly. Is really hilly. So what we want to do is we want to build this very carefully so we know what's going on. So first what we're going to do is we're going to sort of just drudge out just a little bit more of this. And then we're just going to soften all of this, and this is where the train will come out. So we're going to take our train line. We're going to make sure it's still on the complex curve tool, and we're going to bring it. I don't mind if they have switch in. Well, that's fine. And then that builds a nice train track for our main line. So that's our main line here. And then coming off our main line, we want then to have... what do we want? No, we want this to be electrified. So we want electrified two-way. So have we got a two-way that is electrified? No, we want two tracks. Two tracks. Double one-way? No. Yeah. So then we have... we can have that there. We can have this here. And then this will do the same. Okay. And then we're going to bring this through the countryside. Bring this through the countryside. Where it's going to prepare to then... Well, let's make sure it's done the right thing over here. Has it made the correct type of crossing? No, that has not. Okay. Right, so what we'll need to do is we'll need to then... well, we'll just need to upgrade this part of the track to not have walls on it, won't we? Or not to be a bridge part. I don't know why it's all decided that it needs to be a bridge part, but sure. Okay, so now that's sort of a normal crossing. Where it will then... Right, let's turn on bridge mode so that it makes bridges. Okay, so now what it's going to do is it's going to come through here, which is completely fine. That's what we want it to do. We then need to turn off our bridge pieces, because then it will come into the train station that we will place down. So we're going to also get rid of this train station. We don't want it. We want one that comes with a bridge by default, so we don't have to deal with adding a bridge to it. We want both platforms to be accessible by default. That is what we want. So then what we're going to do is we're going to get our normal in-game medium train station, make sure it's snapping, and we'll place it there, which is lovely. We'll then... Oh. Okay, right. Then what we'll do is we'll take this off. Will it be on constant slope, which is fine. And then it'll just need... Well, no, I can actually just connect it to here. Which has then made our crossing here. Which is all good. It looks a bit weird, and you know what? I'll fix it in a little bit. But then it adds in our services to this train station, which I like. So we're going to unpause. We're going to make sure, yeah, it's a nice train station. What we probably want to do is just... We don't have the randomized forests on anymore, I don't think. Okay, right. What we want to do is we want to go on singular train. No. We don't want the changes. Come off. I don't want you. Right. So then what we want to do is we probably just want to get our group trees. Turn off anarchy so it doesn't do any... Oh, we have to turn on anarchy, which hopefully means it's not going to place it in the middle of our train tracks. Yes, it will. So we'll wait until we own stuff to do this, so then I don't have to deal with clearing loads of trees off our lines, because trees will mess with the electrification of our trains. Oh my god, look up. See, this is why. This is why you have to be really careful whenever you're using anarchy, because otherwise it just mess up a lot of your stuff. Okay, so we've got our train line. We've got 2 train lines. So this one is now... We'll make this one. So this one's going to be a route that takes us... So we're going to use our passenger railway tool. We're going to take it from Pentrin, I think that says. And it's going to come into the closest station. So... Yeah, we're going to undo that. We're just going to come into this one. Which will then take the right line into our train station here. Which it will then come into... Which line do we want it to come into? Okay, we'll make it come into this platform here, because then it doesn't have to... Okay. Hmm. So that's going to delete that whole track. All that whole route that we made. But this sort of needs to be two-way. So I can run the train the way I want it to run it. So let's take our... No, that's not what we want. Let's pick of this line from here. So our double HS tracks. It does mean we're now reduced to 2 tracks on the inbound, but that's fine to be fair. Yeah, and then we just need to connect with our lane priority tool. Let's just come onto here. We then want this one to then connect into there, which is fine. We'll just make sure our signal is doing the correct thing the whole time. Oh. But it should also mean that, and this is just going to be slow for a while because everyone's moving in over there. That is fine. This is properly connected, and then we need to properly connect this one. No, we're not making trains turn around. Okay, right, so let's redo that. So our train's going to start at... So what we're going to do is we're going to take our passenger railway tool. He's going to start here. Then we want him to take the inside lane. Or we'll actually take him on the middle lane, because that's probably going to be the... Okay, so he's going to take the middle lane. Hopefully me adding waypoints doesn't mean he's going to stop at all. Where he will then stay in the middle. And then come in on... Yeah, because he's a two-way. Okay, that's fine, yeah. Where he will then stay on his middle lane until he comes straight into our platform down here. No. Yeah, come in there, so then he can come straight out here. Does mean we have to be very careful on what trains we run down this line, because it's only 2 lanes. We have to be very, very careful. So then we want to bring him here. We then want to run him on the closest track. So then he can come into the station on the closest. We'll then get him to call at this station, where he will then speed it up the main line. Using, we want him to end up taking the... Yep, so we want to transfer into the inside lane, which then he will come down into this one. And do we want him to come... Yeah, we'll get him to come into this one, so then he leaves on this one. He then takes the inside track again, where he then comes onto our track here, where he then will have to wait until any trains are passing have passed. There, he will then take the mid lane all the way, well, take the mid lane back to then his location at Pentrink. Right, beautiful. So we want to call this one... We actually want to redo this. So what trains is this going to be? What train is this? Oh, this is the Pentrink service to... Oh, no, this is an NPC one. So this one isn't even to do with us. Wait. Where's he going? Is he our train? No idea. Okay, so this is going to be our newest train line. Okay, guys, before we even get started with this, I think we've got a massive traffic issue over here. So what I'm going to do is, I believe this is probably caused by the fact that we have whatever's going on here. So what we are going to do is we're going to take a slip ramp off of here. We're going to constant slope it, bring it up to 10. We're also going to use the correct tool for this. So we're going to bring it over here. And it's going to go... Right, it's going to go straight over our highway. Where it will then come down. No, it's... Oh my god. And then what we'll do is we'll make this a 4-lane asymmetric. I think. Maybe that's what's called. 4-lane, 5-lane asymmetric highway. Just to give them a chance to merge them. And then hopefully that flyover means that people are gonna get less trafficked as they approach our city over here. And what we are going to do is we're also going to go into our lane connector tool, use this. So they're waiting to go into there. They've got 2 dedicated right hands. Beautiful. Okay. So hopefully this flyover will fix most of our traffic issues over here. I think it's just the amount. Oh my god, this goes so far back. So I think it's just the amount of traffic wanting to use this slip road. So let's just, upgrade. Okay, right, then what we need to do is we just need to grab this. Bring this up, bring this up. Get this, bring this up, bring this up, bring this up. Get this, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Because right now, oh my god, that bend's so bad. Why does it go down? Right, let me delete this. Let me delete whatever absolute is going on over here. Let me just delete that. Why is this? Okay, right, let's bring that down. Let's also then bring this here. Oh my god. That's not upgrading. Okay. So then hopefully this is going to bring our traffic through a little quicker. Now we have more lanes to get everyone through. This is going to just change a dual carriageway. I have no wants to move this into a motorway. So hopefully that resumes our traffic issues. Now let's see if we finally got a train that has stopped at our station. Nope, we've still got 500 people waiting. Which might mean we have a systematic failure in our trains. Yeah, these are the 5x. Okay, so the 5x things are way too big to fit into this station here. Okay. Yeah, so they delete. I'm kind of annoyed now what train station we used here because is this the one we used? No, look, it's by wait. No, the front of these is different. So this is a 15 grand thing a month. Which is the one we're using? Or is it literally the exact same one? Okay, right. It does mean we're gonna have to. Oh, we're gonna have to redo it. But guys, I'm hoping this fixes our issues. No, look, because actually these are just like. Wait. Oh my god, we've broke the whole city, guys. Guys, give me a minute, and I'm gonna fix this. Okay, guys, I've worked on a lot of the build. I've made sure that we've added some new train tracks in. I'm not going to lie, I've redone how this train station works completely. We've re-added a new train. We've also used some new lanes, which means trains don't just have to change right at this final moment. They can change a lot before. We've also downloaded a new version of the train station, which means we can now have 5x4 cars. 5x4, I think it's 5x4, whichever configuration. Yeah, 2x4s. Yeah, 2x4 trains in the station, which will then back out and then go down the line instead of having to switch over to go down. I think it works very well. I quite like how this train station works now. We have got one issue that we might need to fix at some point, which is we have. My God, we've got how many trains are on this line? By the way, let's just chat. We've only got 2, so I don't know why there's so many, why it feels like there's so many. It's because they're not spread out. But anyway, yeah, it feels like we've got a lot of new trains on the system. Oh, we're having bloody traffic issues here again. I don't know why we're having traffic issues here again. I'm just gonna close my eyes and pretend it doesn't exist. Oh my God, it backs up all the way. Oh, I'm just going to close my eyes, guys, and pretend it doesn't exist, and we'll deal with it at some other point. Oh, my God. We've also got this part bloody crashing out because they're stuck. Oh, that's why people are so unhappy. It's because we've got so much traffic. Oh, my God. And they can't get out because of what reason exactly? I don't know. Because this guy's stuck. Why are you wobbling like that? You don't have to wait for him. You can just use the outside. Let's have a little look. I can't actually upgrade how this works. Okay. Alright, we're just going to hope that this will fix... Oh my God, it backs up so quickly, doesn't it? Oh, and we've got a fire over here. Bloody hell, guys. We've got so many issues. But we're going to fix them all in the next episode. So I hope you've enjoyed what we've done today. It's been a bit everywhere. I've been a bit everywhere, but do you know what? We're going to fix everything that's wrong with the city in the next episode. Thank you for joining. Once again, this was Saltmarsh. I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.